Yesterday, EA went and dropped a max 88 rated Icon SBC, which absolutely crashed the market because we didn't expect it. On top of that, I'm going to be covering everything else that's come in the last 24 hours, what's been going on with the market, and what should you do with your players now that more likely than not they are down. Before we do start though, if you guys are interested, I do offer a daily subscriber trading service, and at times like this when the market potentially is going to keep crashing and crashing, trading is really good because you don't have to worry. But you can get this for free with Amazon Prime. All you got to do is click on the top link in the description. That says either free of Amazon Prime, £5, €5 or $6. In that you'll get yourself daily investments, but again at the moment because the market is crashing or potentially keep crashing, what is probably more interesting to you guys is daily updated trading data. These are again a massive list of players. There's like 2 lists of players, about 50 to 100 players with buy prices, sell prices, and again we're hopefully allowing to make coins in what is potentially quite an ugly market. So let's talk a little bit about what we went and got. So we went and got ourselves a max 88 rated base icon pack, and again it wasn't expected, let alone that it's now actually repeatable on the Thursday as well. So yeah, they went and dropped it. Now here's the funny thing, right? So the Footbin community went and heavily downvoted it, but I can tell you, even though it is heavily downvoted, it is even more heavily completed. People might not like it, but I tell you what, they're completing it. So the reason that people don't really like the SBC this time is because last time, and this is actually one of the reasons why the market crashed as well, the last Icon SBC we got was around about 200k, if I'm not wrong. Can we get the daily? Yeah, it's around about 220k. Well, this one is going to come out and it's 350k. So because it is significantly more expensive, it's actually had a significantly bigger impact on the market. Because even though people pretend that they don't like the idea of the SBC being more expensive, they are completing it and they are selling their squads to go and complete it. And we can see this as a really obvious thing because the SBC is about 350k. And because the SBC is about 350k, it means the vast majority of cards under 350k would have dropped about 20 to 30% yesterday. That is because these are the prime sort of players that people are selling to go and complete the SBC. Whereas the more expensive cards we saw a less of a drop on, because one, if people are running those more expensive cards, they've probably got more coins spare, and two, these cards aren't really having to be sold to complete the SBC because more often than not people aren't going to need 4, 5, 6, 700k, so they'll just go and sell on their cheaper players. We can see this as an example because we can see someone like Bellingham went from 122k and he's down to 90k. This means that Bellingham generally dropped the best part of around about 30k, just under. If we look at a card a little bit more expensive though, we can look at Van Dijk, and Van Dijk was 250k and he's down to around about 210k, which means Van Dijk is dropped under 20k. Under 20%. If we go and look at Valverde, again another more expensive card, maybe before the SBC he was 450, after the SBC went down there to 380, meaning again he dropped less than 20%, again down a little bit more. This is even more prevalent when we go and look at promo cards. We can look at someone like De Jong who was 1.3 million, and then after the SBC it was 1.2 million, meaning he barely even dropped 10%. We can see this again with Lauren James. Before the SBC she was 1,080,000, after the SBC she was 1,080,000. The reason is because again people aren't selling the expensive cards to complete the SBC, they're just selling their cheap cards. So again we can see bigger drops, especially on the impact cards that are under 350k. The cheaper the cards you get, the more the drop you would have seen. Now it wasn't all too bad because we did actually see a bit of a rise, and we saw a bit of a rise on fodder. Something we thought we'd never say because of course fodder's been so woeful, but 84s, we saw them go from 2.2k. They're only up to 2.5k, which is just crazy. It just shows how the sheer supply this year. We look at 85s, and 85s are from 5.5 up to 6.5. We then go and look at 86s, and 86s have gone from 8.5 to 10.5. Lovely rise in them. We look at 87s, and they've gone from 13 to 15. Not too bad. 88s, and they've gone from 16 to 18. And 89s, they've gone from 22 to 24. So you can see on the more top end stuff, it's kind of was dropping off. It's very interesting because despite only being a 350k SBC, EA again has gone more ham on the low raters than the high raters. They could have just required maybe like an 88 in there and then knocked down maybe the 85 and the 86 squad. But no, again, they've gone 85, 86, 86, 87. So EA again is just barely ever requiring stuff above an 87. In my opinion, it's because they want to rise the low-rated fodder, then they'll go move on to rising the high-rated fodder. Remember again, today, Monday, we are going to have this SBC repeatable, requiring more 85 and 86 rated fodder. So if you guys own fodder, I would not sell it now. Your sell time on fodder could potentially be this evening if we do see like if we see like a 20% rise on fodder tonight, I'd go and sell it tonight. That's because if we're not guaranteed to now go and get the Icon SBC on the Wednesday, because there's no new packs in the code, obviously at the moment. If we don't go and get a new hero or icon pack on the Wednesday, you'll see a lot of panic selling, because people know that fodder goes down on a Thursday morning with Division Rival Rewards. Therefore, when it's not needed on a Wednesday, then you'll go and see panic selling. If that is the case, it's not guaranteed. On the Tuesday, we might get a new pack added. It might be that we go and have a hero SBC every Wednesday and Monday, and an icon SBC every Sunday and Thursday, which is just crazy. It's crazy. They're a month in and we're getting 4 hero and icon SBCs, but hey, you know, EA plays the game. But yeah, so this SBC is repeatable again on the Thursday, which is interesting because it might completely mess up the trends we know. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I think the market will rebound in a second, but this will actually potentially mess up the trend if you guys aren't aware. Cards are normally really cheap on a Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, and then rise Thursday morning all the way through to Friday midday as people are building their weekly teams. Well, now that we've got this icon SBC on the Thursday, obviously we saw how big of a crash, even post the SBC. We saw pre the SBC quite a big crash, and I thought, actually, do you know what, that is the investment. But actually, post, a fair few cards still dropped. Some cards were cheaper pre, but the vast majority were actually cheaper another 5-10% post. So, you know, is that now going to go and mess up our weekly cards of buying them on the Wednesday, selling them on the Thursday? We're not too sure. If I was to do stuff, I'd probably go and sell it maybe Thursday afternoon, or you just gamble and sell it Friday afternoon. But yeah, it can be very interesting to see what that goes and does to the trends. I guess now what we'll do is we'll talk about what do I think is actually going to happen to the market now. Actually, no, before I do that, let me just go and talk a little bit about Team of the Weeks. I do think Team of the Weeks are good investments. And the reason I think that Team of the Weeks are good investments in terms of fodder Team of the Weeks is because this current Team of the Week has no Team of the Week higher than an 85 rated in it. That is fodder. Because the current Team of the Week has no Team of the Week in it that's higher than an 85 rated, it means that any 86 rated or higher informs are not in supply, but they are in demand. Because, of course, the Icon SBC, I think, requires an 87 rated squad with Team of the Week and an 86 rated squad with Team of the Week. In addition to everything that's pre-existing that needs Team of the Weeks. So I do think you can go and buy 86, 7s, 8s, and maybe 9s. They're not needed too much, but I definitely think 86, 7s, and 8 rated Team of the Weeks. In a market that is potentially quite unpredictable, I think these cards will have very progressive rises due to not being in packs, but being in demand. And again, we can see, they didn't have crazy rises yesterday, but we did see an increase. We saw these 86s go from 17.5 up to 19. We saw 88s go from 25 and they're up to 27. And we saw 87s go from 22 and they're up to 25. So we can obviously see they're in demand. We know they're not in any more supply, yet I think the demand will just continue to increase till Wednesday. When we get to Wednesday, the Team of the Week will be leaked before it comes out. If we do have 86, 7s, 8s rated Team of the Weeks, I do think you can probably sell before they come out. If we don't go and have high rated Team of the Weeks, these cards are going to absolutely bang next week. So if we get another Team Week like we have right now, where we've only got Harry Kane as the Team of the Week fodder, that's above an 86, anything at 85, anything above an 85 is meta and as a result not fodder, then yeah, those high rated Team of the Weeks that are fodder from previous weeks will do really nicely. So just a little heads up there regarding the investments. So my opinions on what is basically going to go and happen to the market now, I guess, that we potentially get an Icon SBCs on the Sunday. We've kind of got one of two trends. If we are now not going to go and get hero SBCs on the Wednesday, I think we're now going to start seeing the market be the cheapest on the Sunday, and it's going to rise to the Thursday and the Friday, just like last year, which is a lovely market. But if we get the Icon SBC on the Sunday, then a new hero SBC on the Wednesday, which is potentially also what's going to happen, I don't think it's going to be too good. I think we're going to see the market drop on the Sunday, then I think it's going to slowly drop Sunday to Monday, Monday to Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday, then have another drop on the Wednesday, then rebound kind of Wednesday through to Friday, but then potentially even drop for the repeatable bit on the Sunday. So what would I do with your cards? I would say if they are cards that rise each week, I would definitely be holding on to them. So what are cards that rise each week? Now, let's go and for gold cards, there's very few cards. It was Theo Hernandez until we went and got the left back Evo, which we'll talk in a sec. But you see how this card was rising every week? It wasn't a bad card to go and hold. Van Dijk, again, also probably would have been the worst card. He was dropping slightly, but probably not the best example. But you don't want to be in cards like Chiesa, right? Chiesa are not cards I'd want to hold through the week because this card is just absolutely plummeting each week. You can see right there, he was only 100k 10 days ago. So these are the last sort of cards you want to be in. Ideally, if you're in any sort of gold card, generally gold cards that are holding, if not rising each week. I think Butella might not be the worst example of a card that's been holding up until yesterday. Again, you can see right there, her card is a lot flatter than if we go and compare it to Chiesa. So if you have cards like Chiesa, I'll be honest with you, I'd probably sell anticipating them dropping in the week, because they drop in the week anyway. If you've got cards like Butella, cards like Vinicius Jr., cards like Theo Hernandez, these are better cards to hold. This is a better example if we go and look at like old team of the weeks. We can see that some of the more expensive old team of the week seem to hold their value better midweek compared to the cheap ones. So I mean, if we go and grab like Valverde and we go and compare it to Saka, I mean even Saka probably won't be too bad. We can again look at Valverde here and see Valverde's kind of been holding and progressive. These are nice sort of cards to have right now because, you know, the trends would have to, even if the trends countered, they'd still probably be flat because otherwise they're rising. Saka a bit of an example. I mean, Saka wouldn't be that bad. You can see the graph is quite flat right there. It'd be something like Adeyemi, I think, who, especially as of recently, has had a bit of a rough time in terms of dropping. I mean, I'll be honest with you, team of the weeks aren't bad. I mean, your outer pack specials aren't looking too bad. It's your outer pack specials. It's your heroes that are over 250k. It's your icons that are over 250k, and it's your gold cards over 400k. All of these cards should either hold, drop slightly, or actually just keep rising if that's the normal trend they're doing. It's kind of, again, your impact specials, your impact golds under 400k. These are cards that I wouldn't be that fond of holding. Again, the cheaper the card, the less of the chance I'd want to be holding them. So yeah, what sort of cards can you go and buy is probably a good question, because obviously if we're in a in a market that's favoured to drop, how can I buy cards that are like under 250k and not lose coins? Well, there's a few cards you can go and buy without losing coins, in my opinion. The first of that is probably going to be the current team of the week. Again, there is a chance that the team week trends are going to be different because of, obviously us now having an icon SBC on the Sunday. But these cards traditionally do rise from the Sunday to the Wednesday. So if you want to go and use Krachawi, Gvardiol, Pedri, Diaby, Kane for whatever reason, you can go and buy these cards, and they are favourite to go and rise till the Tuesday, if not the Wednesday. Other cards you can go and buy are, like I said a second ago, outer pack special cards. Outer pack special cards should be quite solid, especially the older ones. Obviously, the more recent ones have kind of only just hit people's teams. Because they've only just hit people's teams, there's a chance they drop a bit more. But if we go and look at stuff like these Road to Knockout stages here, as long as they aren't replaced by SBCs, we probably wouldn't have seen that bad of a drop on them last week, and they should be relatively progressive cards. Again, post obviously his team, I think, losing or drawing or whatever, we can see he hasn't really dropped, and even with the icon SBC, he's only down 15k, which in comparison to probably like a Van Dijk who was 250k, who went down 40k. So again, you just want to go and spam your teams based with these RTKs. Again, before the SBC, he was going for about 195, still 180. So you basically want to go and fill your teams with out pack special cards, heroes and icons over 250k, current team of the week that are meta. Obviously, pre-team of the week isn't too bad of a card as well, and that. So that is kind of cards you can hold or cards you can use that aren't likely to drop through this week in compared to, again, the market being a bit sketchy in other places. So that's kind of been the icon SBC. Again, the market crashed very heavily because it wasn't expected. It was also way more expensive than than even when we expected the icon SBC. It was more expensive, which as a result, it led people to go and panic sell more so they could afford to do the SBC. Fodder is anticipated to keep rising through to Wednesday pre-6 PM or post-6 PM if it is supplied more than it's demanded. It's expected to go down with Division Rival Awards, but then we should see a nice rise from Division Rival Awards in the morning through to the Icon SBC being repeatable on the Thursday evening. And I think that, and then gold cards under 400k are anticipated to keep dropping each day. And out of pack specials, especially the older stuff, is anticipated to be holding, if not rising, each day. I think that kind of covers the vast majority of things. So let's go and talk about the other content because, yeah, there was some other content. We're going to go ourselves David. Now, David isn't too demanding. Now, I had some criticism on a recent video saying that they didn't think I actually play the game because they thought that my opinions on like meta cards were off. Well, I will just say I have just gone on banged, well, actually the highest rank I've had in Weekend League so far of 9 wins. Obviously, by pro standard, content creator standard, it's not the highest in the world. But I will just say I do think I have relatively okay. I mean, for someone who's probably played like 200, 250, 300 games, whatever. I don't think I've got too bad of a standard of of gameplay and understanding of the game. And obviously, I'm surrounded by people in my chat who are, there's obviously some very, very good players who will obviously correct me if I'm wrong when I'm streaming. So I do like to believe that I do have quite a good take on cards. Obviously, in comparison to pros and coaches, it's not going to be as good, but That's not what you joined me for. But yeah, so swiftly on. We got ourselves David. I don't think David's very well demanded. The reason for that is because he's only got 3-star weak foot. Sorry, 3-star skills. He's got 5-star weak foot, but the reality is no one's building Ligue 1 teams. There just haven't been many meta cards in the Ligue 1. So yeah, don't really expect people completing him. We can see that people weren't really completing because we've got Andre, who I imagine would have been pre-invested, and then panic sold because no one's completing him. Very interesting content we got yesterday was a left-back Evo. Now, this was leaked pre because every single Evo is leaked pre, not publicly to you guys, but privately in Discord. It was actually quite funny. Apparently, one of the Discords said... So what the Discords do is they leak, they give people investments, but they don't actually tell them the real reason, so then leaks don't get out, which is hilarious. So, for example, one of the Discords apparently this week said, buy your Doogie because this week people are going to run budget teams. They're not. People weren't going to run budget teams this week. There was no reason for people to go and scale down their teams. But they said that, so then people would invest in your Doogie without saying, buy your Doogie, he's one of the best for the Evos. Well, we can see that, you know, there's a lot of hype where he went from 1.6 all the way up there to 3k. But you can see he wasn't actually that demanded. And it went from 1.3k down there to 1.2 and has rebounded to 1.8 since. He honestly doesn't end up with a bad little card, your Doogie. Which one are we going to look at? It's probably this one, I think, is the more realistic one. Yeah, it doesn't end up with a bad left back card. Of course, the Prem is lacking in left backs, which is one of the reasons why I like Robinson as an investment. But yeah, not bad of a card. There was also another pump and dump that I recommended to my chat, and that was Mendy. I recommended buying Mendy up to 117. He went up to 170. Again, it'll only have that, and then he went down to like 130, 140. But you can see there is the pump, there is the dump. Obviously, it is very high risk. I let people know that. You know, but there is very good coins again. It would have been like 40k a card. I think that some viewers made hundreds on it. Interesting cards as well. We got B-Tech Maldini. I'm convinced people are only doing him because he's got hair like Maldini. He's also got the exact same positions as Maldini, which is quite funny. But yeah, I mean, 90 pace looks nice on a centre back. When you have that with the 81 defending and 78 physical, not amazing. It's coming in at 6'2" though, which is quite nice. Your Doogie obviously very popular, and Delo obviously had a very expensive promo card. But this card is literally the exact same thing, just a little bit less physical and defending. Definitely not making the, you know, definitely not beating the promo cards, but in terms of value for money, you're paying 70k compared to what, like 300k. So let's have a little look at what that did to the market. It crashed left backs. Obviously, you know, Lazaro got replaced. He went and dropped himself, what, 70k right there. We then have Hernandez, and Hernandez, a card that literally could not be dropped. It was like a Mendy's of previous years. He is down 160k. DeMarco is down 45k. Obviously, the best road to knockout stage rising. Capdevila is down 70k. He had a bit of a rebound, but back down again now. Even icons like Cole are down 100k. Dronana Risa is down 70k, so again, almost down 50%. Bon Pastor's down 40k. And Delo had an ugly drop as well, down from 260 down to 210. I actually got quite saved by one of my viewers, because one of my viewers was in these Discords and he said, Dan, I wouldn't recommend people buying left backs. You know, these leakers are hinting towards there being a left back Evo. And then that paired with, if we looked on the top 100 risers, loads of left backs, it kind of looked like we were getting left back. So for a while I recommended people buying Kachawi, and they said, do not hold off buying Kachawi because you know, this left back Evo could go and replace her. Funny enough, she didn't really drop much when we did go and get this Evo, so yeah, it was quite interesting. If you could go and have a little look, we can see that, I mean, hourly yesterday, we can see before the Evo she did go up to about 120, then after the Evo she went down to 109, but yeah, holding about 107. I presume we got some Sissoko links, which is just quite well demanded. Apparently people have been playing against a lot of her in the weekend league. Trailblazers. Now, there was an interesting trend with promo cards where promo cards would actually rise from the Sunday afternoon all the way through to Tuesday. I'd be less certain of that being the trend this week because of obviously there being loads more hero and icon SBCs. I mean, let's have a little look how these cards react to at least the icon pack yesterday. Wasn't too bad, but obviously it was 540 before, went down to 408, rebounded to 440, but back down to 400. So again, we think these cards would drop down to the lowest being Thursday evening. Very nice look, by the way. Joan Garcia is discard. I think Joan Garcia is going to do very well out of packs because of the lack of promo goalkeepers. So yeah, do think that is a nice investment. I understand he's got worse stats than the Spanish La Liga players, but again, some other Spanish La Liga goalkeepers. But he does have a Playstar Plus, and again, promo goalkeepers I do think can be more popular than gold ones. Yeah, we just talked about Robinson earlier as well. Robinson went from 185 down there to 135, rebounded a little bit, but it's down since. Again, should keep dropping until Thursday. Sadly, Aspas, rough time for Aspas. What did I recommend? I did recommend him as a buy at 220. He actually started rebounding a bit, but yeah, sadly he's down to like 40, which is quite ugly. But so as long as you didn't invest a high portion of your coins, which is always advised not to, then it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, so it's not a great time to have promo cards as investments. Again, your best investments at the moment, I would say, is just going to be your 86 to 89 rated informs. Other investments you can have, I wouldn't buy fodder now because obviously fodder's already quite inflated, and I think the bulk of the demanded SBCs has already come. I wouldn't sell it, it's just not really an investment, so yeah, it's just high rated informs. And I think maybe some of the Sissoko links, I think Perez can be quite nice. Perez went up like 30k the other day when Sissoko came out. He's obviously down now, but I do think he can rise later in the week. But yeah, apart from that, I think it's a bit of a hold off and just wait and see what happens. Pre-team that we'll be looking into, there aren't any two big names for pre-team week. I think Musiala got a goal and assist, but let's see. Yeah, Musiala, I think you're paying already. What are you paying for an 87? I mean, you could go and buy Musiala, same rating as 87 rated fodder. 87 rated fodder should slightly rise through the week, and he can rise in the pre-hype. So maybe you go and buy Musiala as another investment. But yeah, a little bit limited right now because we don't know quite what's going to happen. We are going to upload another tutorial video on the YouTube channel today. We'll probably cover icon trading because I don't quite have a big long video about how to icon trade, about how to do it on console, web app, and PC. So if you're interested, second link in the description, FLAIR's eafc tutorials, and you guys can go learn how to icon trade. But we'll be opening all these packs over on stream around about 9ish, so if you are interested, do make sure to head over to the stream. Thank you very much for watching, thanks for the support, and yeah, see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video.